When people ask me why I've been talking so much about the iPhone 16 lately, my answer is pretty obvious. Apple's flagship smartphones are always in the spotlight during September. But in 2025, the conversation isn't just about iPhones. A growing number of people are asking, what about the iPad? Should I buy one now or wait? And that's a really good question. The iPad lineup has become one of Apple's most important product families, bridging the gap between smartphones and Macs. Whether you're a student, a content creator, or just someone who loves the versatility of a tablet, the iPad has a model for you. But here's the thing. Apple is gearing up for some pretty significant iPad updates. And depending on which iPad you're thinking of buying, it might be worth holding off just a little longer. In this deep dive, I'll cover everything we know about upcoming iPad models, including the iPad Pro with the M5 chip, updates to the iPad Air and iPad mini, the rumored 12th generation iPad, and of course, all the new features coming with iPadOS 26. I'll also give you my personal take on whether you should buy now or wait, based on what Apple seems to have planned over the next 12-18 months. So buckle up, because this is going to be a long one, iPad Pro 2025, what we know. So far, let's start with the star of the show, the iPad Pro. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, one of the most reliable Apple insiders, has reported that Apple is preparing to launch the next generation of iPad Pro models before the end of 2025. And the biggest headline feature? Dual front-facing cameras. Now that might sound like a small change at first, but it's actually a huge deal for how people use iPads in real life. The upcoming M5 iPad Pro will include both portrait and landscape cameras, which means no matter how you're holding your iPad, docked on a keyboard in landscape mode, or just casually in portrait mode, you'll always have the camera in the right place. This makes video calls feel way more natural. The current M4 iPad Pro only has a single landscape camera, which was a big improvement when Apple moved it from portrait only. But now, Apple seems to want to give users the best of both worlds. This is especially smart because the iPad Pro has become a legitimate laptop replacement for many people. I personally use a 13-inch iPad Pro with M4, and I almost never use it in portrait orientation. It's always docked in landscape on the Magic Keyboard. For me, the landscape camera made perfect sense, but I can see how having both options will be a win for people who use their iPads differently. Design and display, smaller changes. This time around, Apple gave the iPad Pro a massive redesign in 2024. When the M4 models launched, a thinner, lighter chassis, a stunning OLED display with incredible contrast and brightness, new sizes, including the 13-inch Pro model that I use daily because of that. 2025 isn't expected to bring another dramatic redesign. Instead, the iPad Pro will likely get M5 chip performance upgrades, dual front-facing cameras, possibly some small refinements to improve durability and battery life, and honestly, that's fine. The current M4 iPad Pro is already ridiculously powerful. Performance expectations, M4 versus M5 chip. This is where things get interesting. The M4 chip in the current iPad Pro is a beast. It handles everything from multitasking to high-end creative apps like Final Cut Pro and Photoshop without breaking a sweat. So the natural question is, how much better can the M5 really be? Based on leaks, here's what we're expecting. Better efficiency. Apple has been focusing on performance per watt improvements with every generation. That means the M5 will likely bring longer battery life without sacrificing speed. AI and Apple Intelligence features. The M5 is rumored to include an upgraded neural engine with more AI-focused cores, designed to accelerate tasks like image generation, video editing, and even real-time language translation. Graphics boost. More GPU cores should make the iPad Pro even better for gaming and creative workloads. With Apple Arcade and 80A games being ported to iPad, this could be a big deal. But here's my honest take. If you already have the M4 iPad Pro, you don't need to upgrade to the M5 unless you really want those dual cameras or you're heavily invested in Apple's AI future. The M4 is already overkill for most people. iPadOS 26, making the iPad. More like a laptop, of course, hardware is only half the story. The other big upgrade is iPadOS 26, which Apple is set to release this fall. This update brings some major quality-of-life improvements. Liquid glass design language across the entire UI, giving iPadOS a sleek new look, smarter multitasking, making it easier to snap windows, manage multiple apps, and treat the iPad like a real laptop replacement. Expanded Apple Intelligence features, like on-device AI summarization, smart photo editing, and more better support for external displays and peripherals, making the iPad Pro even more Mac-like. I've been testing the beta, and I can say without hesitation, this is the closest the iPad has ever come to being a real MacBook replacement. If you've ever been frustrated by iPadOS limitations, iPadOS 26 solves a lot of them. What about the iPad Air? Now let's shift gears to the iPad Air. Apple released a new iPad Air earlier in 2025 with the M3 chip, and honestly, it's one of the best values in Apple's lineup right now. The M3 chip is more than powerful enough for students, casual creators, and everyday users. The design is sleek, lightweight, and almost pro-like, without the premium price tag. You get most of the same iPadOS 26 features, including Apple Intelligence support. So if you're eyeing an iPad Air, you can feel confident buying it now. Apple just updated it, which means we probably won't see another refresh until late 2026 at the earliest. iPad mini rumors. Is a refresh coming? This one is tricky. The iPad mini hasn't been updated in a while, but recent leaks suggest that Apple is working on a new model. Internally, it's codenamed J510 and J511, and it could feature the A19 chip, the same chip that will power the iPhone 17 series later this year. That's exciting because the A19 brings major CPU and GPU improvements. The Pro version of the chip has even more GPU cores, which could be a game changer for mobile gaming. On the iPad mini, AI support via the neural engine would make the mini more future-proof. There are also whispers of an OLED display iPad mini, but timelines are all over the place. Some rumors point to 2026, others to 2027. So here's my advice. If you've been waiting for a new iPad mini, you might want to hold off until at least early 2026. Apple clearly has something in the works, and it could be worth waiting for. The 12th generation iPad, budget-friendly, but smarter. Let's not forget the entry-level iPad. Apple is reportedly planning a 12th generation iPad with the A18 chip, which will be a big leap forward from the A16 in the current 11th gen model. Highlights include same design as the current iPad, faster A18 processor with AI-focused features, expected price around $349, making it one of the most affordable ways to get into the Apple ecosystem. This makes sense because Apple wants to keep the base iPad attractive for schools, families, and people who don't need pro-level performance. Should you buy now or wait? Okay, so with all these models in play, what should you do if you're in the market for a new iPad? If you need the best of the best, wait for the M5 iPad Pro later this year. The dual front-facing cameras and M5 performance bump will make it the most powerful tablet in the world. If you want value and performance, the iPad Air M3 is a fantastic buy right now. No need to wait. If you love portability, hold off for the next iPad mini, expected in 2026. If you're on a budget, the 11th gen iPad is fine today, but the 12th gen with A18 will be worth waiting for in 2026. Final thoughts: the iPad lineup has never been stronger. From the budget-friendly entry-level iPad to the ultra-powerful iPad Pro, there's truly a model for everyone. And with iPadOS 26 bringing laptop-level functionality, the iPad is closer than ever to being a Mac replacement. Personally, I think the iPad Pro with M5 is going to be the most exciting release this year. But the real story is how all of these models, Pro, Air, Mini, and Base, are evolving together, creating an ecosystem where you can pick the perfect iPad for your needs. So, what do you think? Are you planning to buy an iPad this year, or are you waiting for the next generation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear which model you're most excited about.